Coming up on Techzilla, learn how to podcast from the pros. ATI's iFinity, what is it and how do I use it? And how to record your screen for free. Also, we've got a stack of your viewer questions. So peel a banana and scoop up that Buy Right ice cream. Because Techzilla starts now. This episode of Techzilla is made possible by GoToAssist Express, GoDaddy, and Gamefly.
I'm Tom Merritt.
And I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Techzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you already own.
Whether you're a beginner or tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or the best barbecue east of the Bay Bridge, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll track down some barbecue for you.
Welcome to your very first Techzilla, Tom.
Well, actually, I've been on before, Veronica. In fact, it was several weeks ago with you on this very set doing the whole moving your blog thing. Remember that?
True.
It was a couple weeks ago.
That's true. That's true. But not as my brand new co-host of the show. Patrick took a trip to the Mojave Desert and he hasn't come back. We got a postcard from him saying that he's fashioning a hut for himself out of old car parts and cactus husks. And could we please send him a few hydrogen fuel cells and a case of Diet Coke? Oh, and some Blu-ray movies. Very odd, but hey, it's Patrick, and you know how he goes. Anyhow, Tom's my new co-host until we hear back from Pat anyway.
I think you meant to say you're my co-host. That's
yeah,
what I'm reading it here.
That's not how the contract I read says it. In any case, we shall make the best of this. Are you all excited for the iPad coming up this weekend?
I am, actually, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to get one. Are you?
No.
Why not?
Well, first of all, because they're all sold out on pre-orders.
I reserved mine.
Oh, you reserved yours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've talked about this on the show a million times. I'm just not that stoked for it. I'm really waiting to see how it looks. I know Ryan's going to get one in for testing, so I think I'm going to, play with the one he gets.
Oh, well, so you get to get your hands on it.
So I'll have some hands-on time with it, but
See,
I'm not ready to
Ryan
invest the money
in my
yet.
situation.
Oh, really?
Except I'm not getting it in, I'm buying it.
You're buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to test it out and see how it goes, and then if I like it enough, maybe I'll make the investment later down the line. But like I said a million times, I've already got a laptop, I've already got a Kindle, I've already got an iPhone. I don't know if I need that extra thing in my life right now.
I think the whole debate about the iPad is about to change on Saturday, because once people get them home and they start using the apps that are going to be in the App Store from the beginning, that are going to be totally different than anyone expects, it's suddenly going to be a different conversation. I'm not saying it'll even necessarily change your mind, or that suddenly everybody will want one, or suddenly everybody will hate it, but I don't think we really know what to expect from it until you actually get it and start using it.
Okay. I will reserve judgment then until I actually get some hands-on time.
It is a tabula rasa.
Ah.
No.
He's not talking about the video game. That video game was terrible.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
not gonna be like that.
Enough iPad. I'm sure Apple will get plenty of coverage this weekend. And besides, Greg needs a helping hand. He wrote in asking, instead of saving entire issues of magazines, I'd like to be able to scan in just the pages that have something I'd like to save and reference. Scanning to a PDF file is no problem, but it's not searchable. Is there a method, preferably freeware or open source, or at least reasonably priced under Windows, that would work? So if you're looking for free, I mean, Evernote is kind of the place you want to start.
You happen to have one right here.
I happen to have Evernote right here. I'll have to wait until it opens up a little bit. But yeah, you can actually take PDFs and then you can either copy them to the clipboard using the clip tool that they have, where you just take a little mini screenshot of the image, and then after you upload it and after it has some time to index it, it's actually searchable.
Oh, so just the screenshot of the PDF image becomes searchable?
Right.
Oh.
So you can do that with anything, with handwritten notes,
nifty.
with menus, with PDF files, and then you can save it and upload it to your Evernote account online as well.
And I'm guessing what Evernote using is OCR, optical character recognition. So that, I mean, I don't know what Greg's doing here, but you could just scan what you're wanting to index as OCR, as optical character recognition, and then it'll actually take the text in. Microsoft Office document imaging comes with Office 2003, should be available in later versions, and lets you scan documents and make changes to them too, so I'm assuming they'd be searchable at that point, but yeah, a couple different options there.
Yeah, and a little more expensive would be something like ReadIris, which converts scanned images into editable, searchable text. There's a free trial, but the full version is going to be $129. And of course, OmniPage 17 is going to be a little more expensive at $150. But there are other options out there for you.
And then Scribd
yeah.
SCR-IBD will actually take your documents and host them for you and scan them in. So
and shareable too.
Yeah, there's some free document scanning there.
Well, either way, there's some options out there for you. Anyone expecting a long wait for your technical expertise is in for a big surprise. With GoToAssist Express, brought to you by Citrix, you can provide immediate support by easily viewing and controlling your customers' computers online. Provide instant remote one-to-one support to clients located anywhere in the world. Handle more requests in less time, assist up to 8 customers at once, and it supports both Mac and PC users. You can even try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, just visit gotoassist.com/Tekzilla. That's gotoassist.com/Tekzilla.
Welcome to this week's Freebie Download Pick, a free program that we find useful, fun, or incredibly interesting. In all 3 cases, it wins this week with Miro. That's M-I-R-O. Miro is the answer to those common questions of what you can use instead of iTunes. It used to be called the Democracy Player, in case you're familiar with that. The focus is on video, but it can handle audio RSS feeds as well. And Miro allows you to subscribe to BitTorrent feeds of video, too, so the creators of the video don't have to pay for the bandwidth. You're being nice to them. Also, Miro 3.0, which is just out, adds support for subtitles, and they also released Miro Video Converter, a separate program which will allow easy conversion of any video to MP4 in Ogg Theora. This is part of their campaign to get video on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia requires the video to be Ogg Theora. So, if you don't find iTunes to your liking, give Miro a try.
When ATI launched its Radeon HD 5000 series of video cards, it also marked the release of ATI's new Eyefinity technology. Here to give us the inside scoop on what the Eyefinity technology is all about is Maximum PC and AnonTech.com writer Lloyd Case. Welcome back to the show.
Good to be here.
So this looks pretty awesome behind you. What is Eyefinity exactly?
Eyefinity is AMD's technology for handling multiple monitors with one graphics card. We've had 2 for a long time. You can have 2 monitors, 1 graphics card. Now we can have up to 6, depending on what card you have.
So up to 6 is the maximum amount of monitors you can use?
Right, and every ATI 5000 series card sold now comes with 3 connectors. You can have up to 3 monitors. They're about to release this 6-display one called the Eyefinity Edition 5870.
So how is this different from other multiple monitor technologies like HydroVision?
Well, HydroVision is more of a desktop manager, so you can have multiple desktops, so you can have your work desktop, your play desktop, and all that kind of stuff. Eyefinity is a way of scaling up the display over multiple displays. You have like a video wall effect, right? So you can have, in this case, we're running at 5760 by 2160. We have 6 1080p displays hooked up.
So basically you can blow up a DVD or anything pretty much like a massive Jumbotron in your own home.
That's right. You can have one graphics card, 1 PC, you can have your own Jumbotron.
So is there any kind of major performance hit when you're running something like this on your desktop machine?
It depends on what it is. For 3D graphics, some games do fine. I was playing around Dirt 2, the racing game.
Yeah.
Great frame rates at full resolution. Other games, like some of the more intensive first-person shooters, you may see a performance hit. You want to scale back down the detail, but it doesn't just run at the full resolution. You get you can aspect ratio resolutions that are lower, and so you can still get good performance. Now,
I notice on the Dell monitors behind you, they have relatively skinny bezels. But if you really want to be using this all the time, do you imagine that other monitor manufacturers are going to design monitors with very, very skinny bezels, so there's not that much separation?
Yeah. In fact, Samsung's been working on a set of 1080p 23-inch displays, I think, that not only have very skinny monitors. Bezels, excuse me, but they'll also come with special stands. You can buy a 3x1 stand or a 6x2 stand if you want to do that.
So are there limits on the screens that, depending on which Radeon 5000 card you've got?
Right. What's called the Eyefinity Edition HD 5870 is coming out in the next month or so. That'll have 6 mini DisplayPort connectors in the back. That's the other thing about if you're going to have a lot of monitors, you need DisplayPort on the displays. The regular Radeon HD 5000 cards come with 2 DVI ports and a DisplayPort adapter. So.
Now, about how much would this cost you to set up in your own home?
Well, not as much as you might think. If you're doing 6 23-inch 1080p displays, you can get them now for about $200. So you think this is $1,200 for the displays. The graphics card is probably going to cost a little more than the standard 5870, probably around $500. And then whatever PC you happen to have.
So under $1,500, right. Well, not counting the PC,
not
of
counting
course.
The PC.
What kind of PC setup do you need to really take advantage of Eyefinity?
A reasonably good mid-range to high-end PC would be good enough. Something costing between $1,000 and $2,000. You really don't need a super high-end, gaming PC to do this.
Interesting. I wonder if I could get mine to work at home. This is going to take some thinking over. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It looks awesome, and there's no way that I can possibly take this unit home with me?
If it were mine, I'd loan it to you, but it's not mine, unfortunately.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. If you want to catch up on Lloyd's work, check out Maximum PC and AnonTech. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, just head over to twitter.com/LloydCase. Your website visitors, prospects, and customers are wary of websites and online businesses that aren't what they claim to be and worry that their personal and financial information might fall into the wrong hands. Turn your visitors' concerns into a competitive advantage with the ironclad protection of a GoDaddy.com secure certificate. Plus, if you use the code TECH12, you'll get $10 off any order of $40 or more. And be sure to check out revision3.com/GoDaddy for a list of all the amazing GoDaddy deals from Revision 3. Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, 750 Words. 750 Words is part writing exercise and part journaling platform, but the goal is the same. Every morning, you sit down at your computer and type out approximately 3 pages worth of words. It can be about whatever's on your mind, a stream of consciousness, something that's bothering you, ideas for projects, or life in general, whatever. But if you know anything about me, then you know that I'm a huge fan of anything that gives me virtual badges or points for accomplishing tasks, and like-minded people will not be let down. You'll be rewarded for writing in your virtual journal, and it's enough of an incentive to encourage people to keep writing every day. Of course, you don't have to write that many words a day, but it's a good goal. And in case you're the forgetful type, you can have 750 Words email you every day as a reminder. And you can even export your virtual memoirs for safekeeping. It's not like a blog because it's all private. Just write down your thoughts and clear your mind for a more productive day. And thanks to Jason S. on my Google Buzz thread for the suggestion. If there's one thing Tom and I know a lot about, it's podcasting. I mean, between the two of us, we have close to about a dozen different podcasts. So we figured this is the perfect time to answer all those questions about podcasting we've been receiving and do Tom and Veronica's Beginner's Guide to Podcasting. Now, we'll assume you already have a topic in mind, so let's start off with the hardware.
Yeah, you need some stuff to actually record this on. So the easiest thing to do is grab a headset, something like this. I actually don't recommend this one. This is mine, Plantronics. It does the Cyloning effect. But you can find headsets like this for less than $100. Plug in by USB to whatever computer you have now. Instant ability to record podcasts. However, if you want to have more than one person on your computer at a time, you want to get a little fancier, you might want to pick up a USB mixer. That's what I did. You can get some really cheap ones, 30 or 40 bucks, but they will break, I promise you. The one that I use that has been with me for a couple years now and I love is the Alesis Multimix 8 USB model. That allows you to have several inputs. You got 4 mic inputs, but you also have aux inputs. I actually plug a computer into the tape input so I can do separate sound effects from the computer I'm recording on. And it just gives you a whole lot more flexibility. And then, of course, you need a microphone if you're going to use a mixer. The cheapest way to go is the Shure PG48. It's about 30 bucks. It's a really good quality, inexpensive mic. A lot of bands use that, so it's got really good sound for cheap. If after a while you're like, no, I want to get something that sounds awesome, I use a Heil PR40. It's much more expensive, but for the quality, it's actually a good buy, and it just sounds great.
Then, of course, you're going to need some podcasting software to record, mix, and normalize audio. We both use Audacity. You can get it for free at audacity.sourceforge.net. And then something we both use and love, love, love is Levelator. And you can find that at conversationsnetwork.org/Levelator. And that's just great to kind of balance out everyone's audio. If you've got a bunch of different people talking, it'll just nice and levelate it all out.
Especially at the start, it's going to be hard to figure out all those levels, and somebody's going to end up soft, or somebody on Skype's going to sound weird, and it just takes all of that and does it for you.
It's perfect. And then, of course, Skype at www.skype.com. You can use that if you need to record someone who's not in the room with you or do some interviews, something like that. You're probably familiar with Skype, but it is a good tool to use for podcasting. Audio Hijack is another app that we just love. It's free to try, and it's $32 to keep, and you can find that at rogueamoeba.com/audiohijack or Wiretap Studio. You can also do a free trial, or it's $69 to keep. We've tried both of those, and I think my favorite is probably Audio Hijack.
Now, see, my favorite's Wiretap because I've had better luck, but it all depends on your system and which one you have. The key to those, though, is you need those to record Skype, because Skype doesn't record itself.
You can actually use them to record any audio that's happening on your computer at any given moment. So if you've got Skype running, or if you have a sound file that you want to play from Safari or from Internet Explorer, you can pipe it through that way. So it's great if you want to add effects or things live in stream. For uploading and hosting, we both use archive.org occasionally. You can use hosted services to pay if you want to. You're probably going to get more features for the paid services, but Archive is free and things will live up there forever. But you have to put it under a Creative Commons license. That's one thing that you have to realize, right?
No, you can choose to have it
you
copyrighted.
Can do a full copyrighted
you
license
can
as
choose
well?
your full copyright up there. They just want to have everything in the world on archive.org. That's why they'll provide that for free. Now, once you have it up there, you need to put it out in a feed so you can hand code your XML yourself, or I don't recommend doing that because you will make mistakes. We used to do Buzz Out Loud that way, do you remember?
I remember that.
So I would say get an RSS distribution or syndication platform like FeedBurner, feedburner.google.com. It allows you to put your files up on a blog, and then it will create the RSS feed from that for you. If you want to step it up a little bit and get a few more features, there's something called Libsyn. It's Libsyn. It actually combines storage and feed management, so it'll host the files for you and create the feed. And you get advanced management features like QuickCast, which as soon as you upload the file, it immediately puts it in the feed for you. That's kind of nice. Or FutureCast, which allows you to publish in the future. So if you've got some time-sensitive content, you can put that in there. Of course, Libsyn does cost money, so if you want to go the cheap route, go FeedBurner.
Now, if you're curious about how many people are listening or watching your show, you can check out something like PodTrack. It's tracking and possibly advertising as well. You just put a little link in front of the file that you're hosting, and it'll automatically track the number of downloads that you're getting. And then you get all sorts of nice stats and features with that. And then, of course, you need some promotion. You need to get the word out about your podcast. You can always have guests. You can link out to topics. You can put it up in iTunes. Anything you can think of that can get more earballs on your show.
Get those earballs.
Get those earballs on your podcast.
No, I mean, that is the thing a lot of people forget about, right? Which is you need to tell people about it afterward. And that sometimes is the hardest part, is how do you get the word out about that? So just be creative. Come up with as many different ways of getting it out. And guests that you mentioned, I think, is one of the best ways, because then they tell people about it.
Yeah. And hopefully they have a large Twitter following that will tweet out the link after it happens.
Get Veronica on.
Now, again, this is just an overview of the things that you need to ensure a successful podcast. I will put the links in the show notes for all the tools that we mentioned. And if you think that you have an awesome podcast studio, send us in a pic of your setup to Tekzilla@revision3.com.
Coming up next, more viewer questions, but first...
Gamefly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice of over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, Gamefly.com members can rent up to 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. Trust me, I've had Uncharted 2 out for about 6 months. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back, and Gamefly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, which I should probably do this as well, simply click Keep It on the Gamefly website and the game is yours at a discounted price. Gamefly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Even better, you can get a 2-week free trial by signing up at www.gamefly.com/Tekzilla. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Our next email comes from Mark, who writes, I was wondering if SSD drives suffer from the formatting problem that hard disk drives suffer from. For example, 1 advertised terabyte equals 931 usable hard drive space. 120 gigs advertised turns out to be 112 usable space. Mark. By the way, Mark, SSD drive is redundant. I'm just telling you because people give me crap for that. But that's just the way drives are calculated, so the short answer is yes, though there's no suffering involved. SSD space will be counted in the same way as regular hard drives, which is to say, according to CNET, in English, 1,000 is definitely correct, but in computers, the definition is based on numbers being calculated by powers of 2. So the number kilo has actually been 1024. This is because the closest value to 1,000 that you can get with a power of 2 calculation is 2 to the 10th, which is 1024. To get a megabyte, you would calculate 2 to the 20th, with gigabyte being 2 to the 30th, etc. The problem with the computer definition is that in English, it is wrong. It deviates from the English definition of kilo, mega, and giga, which are based on powers of 10, 10 to the 0, 10 to the 3rd, 10 to the 6th, etc., instead of powers of 2. Geeks have been confusing the rest of the world for quite some time with this.
Those geeks.
But they're not suffering, so you don't have to worry about that part.
Good. I'm glad the hard drives aren't suffering.
It makes me happy. Our final question comes from Kaylin, who writes, I am looking for a recommendation on a good or decent software for capturing, recording what's visible on the desktop of a PC while things are happening, user involved or not. I'm looking for a solution for recording an online webinar, for instance, but also for recording an instructional video on how to accomplish a particular task.
I like jingproject.com. It's free. and you can download it and use it on a Mac or a PC. Now, it does only record in SWF in the free version. So if that's all you want to do is have a file that you can look at later, it's fine. Otherwise, you're going to have to upgrade and pay for the version that's, I think, $15 a year, because the whole thing with Jing Project is they want you to share your videos on the web. So $15 a year will get you the ability to do MP4. Camtasia is one for PC. It's actually pretty good, although I always had problems getting it broadcast ready, and it's also $299. I use iShowU on the Mac. It's a Mac only. It's really good. $20 for the regular version, which does do 720p HD, or you can pay for the HD version, which does all kinds of HD, and that one's $30. Be aware, though, that screen recording software places a load on your PC that may make the captured video in particular a little choppy. So you want some horsepower to do this, or close down any programs that you're not actually needing to capture. And Roger recommended CamStudio.com as another free option.
Some pretty solid suggestions there.
Thank you.
If you're into video games, then you're going to love Revision3.com's newest show, The Game Show. Recorded live every week, The Game Show's got two guys and a girl talking about the latest happenings in the video game world, with a bit of an edge. You can see the latest full episode every Tuesday at Revision3.com/TheGameShow, or come check it out live and uncut on Friday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, also at Revision3.com/TheGameShow. And for all of you watching, we live on your questions, so email us at Techzilla@Revision3.com. Tech help, product reviews, how-tos, you ask us, we'll do it. But we need those emails first, so don't be shy. Send them on in to Techzilla@Revision3.com. Or even better, send us in a video question. Think of all the fun you can have and the admiration of all your friends and family when they see your mug on our show. Just keep it to 15 seconds, upload it to YouTube, and send us a link in an email with video question in the subject line.
And as always, you can visit our forums at Revision3.com/forum. Share some thoughts, ideas, comments with other fans of the show. Get the conversation rolling.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching Techzilla.
I'm going to use it in the first question. Now I'm going to take longer because you were mean. I'm going to fix my lipstick.
Me too.